Today I'm going to show you something only top speakers know. These are speaker agreement clauses that are only known to the highest level speakers and their attorneys. Now, I like to teach people to start out doing things correctly. So even if you aren't currently a celebrity or a super high fee speaker, acting professional in all your dealings, both on stage and off, is a must. It'll surely get you to a higher level a lot faster than winging it. Now, for almost any paid speaking engagement, you should have an agreement. And for some no-fee speaking engagements, like, I don't know, visiting a Rotary Club for practice, an agreement, usually not necessary, and they probably wouldn't want you if you asked for one. Now, for the speaking engagements I do now, even though they are technically free, there are hundreds of thousands of dollars on the line. So I always have a serious agreement in place and signed by all parties before I go to the engagement. In this video, I'm going to break down a sample of a more advanced agreement I use for public events promoted by somebody else. Now, I got to tell you, you may not be able to get them to agree to some of the provisions in this agreement until you're in higher demand. You see, some of the events I speak at wouldn't even be profitable unless I was there because they get a percentage of my sales. So most of the time they agree to what I'm asking for, or I won't go to the engagement. It's simple as that. I want you to eventually get to this level. Now, one thing I need to tell you, I'm not requiring these things out of arrogance. I'm requiring them because if you put me up in front of your audience, I know that they work. They must work. There's too much money on the line if they don't. Now, the agreement I'm going to break down for you today isn't for the corporate world, but all my agreements are very serious. And why? Well, because in the corporation world, the meeting planner could have been a secretary yesterday and doesn't know anything like I know about what works and what doesn't after being on stage more than 3,000 times. Plus, by the time I get to their corporate meeting, somebody else could have taken over the meeting and they have no idea of my requirements and they probably didn't even read the agreement. So I always have a copy of the signed agreement with me when I arrive to make sure everything they agreed to is done. Now, that doesn't mean I'm totally inflexible, but if it affects the outcome that they and I desire, I'm usually pretty firm about the requirements of the agreement. Okay, we're going to get into breaking down this specific agreement that's geared toward public seminars where I sell at the back of the room. Well, it's not really at the back of the room like you'll see in one of the clauses here. All right. One other thing I want to tell you. You can find this agreement and tons of other pro speaking tips in my classic ebook, The Ultimate Guide to Professional Speaking, and I'll have the link in the description. Now, before we get into it, the first thing I want to say is that I'm not a lawyer. You use the verbiage from this sample agreement at your own risk. And I highly, highly suggest you have an agreement or any agreement you enter into reviewed by a competent attorney that's familiar with the speaking business. Can't be just any estate planning person. All right. All right. Let's take a look at the agreement. Okay, let's take a look. Here's the document here. I'll be pointing out certain things and going over each clause for you so that, I'll throw in extra explanation as I go along here. So you might want to watch this one again too. Let's see. All right, so the agreement starts out with standard stuff. It's between the promoter and here's my name and I'm the speaker, and so that's just basic stuff there. But then we get into the event information. All right, right here. Let's see. I got pointers and stuff I can show you. All right. So Number one clause is the event information. A promoter will sponsor and the speaker agrees to speak and sell at the following event. And sell. That's an important part there because that's, again, a lot of times the whole event wouldn't be profitable if it wasn't for me being there and selling and making a lot of money for the event. And of course, you got the name of the event, the type of event. It's a public seminar. You got the location, Los Angeles, I just put in there. So this is a sample document, so the real figures aren't in here. All right, the event dates. You want to make sure you have the event dates there. Now, this is an important one right here. Additional speaker preview presentation. Now, folks, this is something that's made me a fortune. You know, I always go the extra mile at these events because there's so much money involved, and I want the event to be successful. I want my reputation to stay high as a big draw for the event, so forth. So what I offer is to do a preview presentation the night before the main presentation. Well, and this is when people have to fly in because they'll be in there the night before. They won't have anything to do but have dinner. So the promoter promotes a pre-presentation with me being there. And what I do is knock them dead with material I'm not going to do in the main presentation. And let's just say there's 300 people registered for the event. And let's say 100 of them had to fly in and they're there the night before and they come to my preview presentation. And I knock them dead, no selling. Guess what's going to happen the next day when the other 200 people come in and they start mingling? Hey, what'd you do last night? Oh, this Antion guy was on last night and he was great. And he's going to be again on Sunday. I can't wait to see that because he floored the place. So basically this is what's going on. And also you'll see a little later how they have my materials at registration, which is part of the agreement. But anyway, that's what the preview presentation is. Okay, main presentation. This is the date, the time, and all that. Okay, and this is another really important one right here. I mentioned earlier that I don't sell at the back of the room, technically, right? So speaker also requires a meeting room, and we call it an isolation room, even though that's kind of, it sounds kind of mean, but that's what we call it. Area as close as possible to the stage area to take attendees to who wish to hear about the higher priced mentor program. That's the big thing that I sell. This room should have a capacity of a minimum. Well, I shouldn't have covered it up there. Of 10% of the main audience size seated in theater style. I want them jammed in. This is, again, part of my Wake 'em Up speaking system. I want people tight. This excitement is bigger when they're tighter in. And 10% is the minimum. If I do a good job, sometimes I'll get 30, 40% of the people in there, all right, or more. So you always want a smaller room, and I have it seated for so many people, but I want them standing up. I mean, this is a big deal, you know. So for room seating more than 50 people, a sound system. I don't know if you can see this low here. Let me scroll down here for you. There we go. Okay, a sound system should be included. The sound system for the room can be a simple handheld wired mic. I don't need a fancy anything for this thing because I'm just standing up in the front of the room and telling them about the mentor program. So it doesn't need to be as fancy or the quality of the main stage system. Also, this is another important thing. Speaker requires a 30-minute break immediately. That's all in caps. Immediately after his session. The back of the isolation room should be set with 6-foot skirted banquet tables and have light refreshments. I've gone as far as having pizza parties for people too, because a lot of times I want to be on at brunch. That's when people are awake, but they're not too tired like they are after lunch. And so I go right into lunch and I'll throw a pizza party for them. Spend, I don't know, $400 or $500 on it. It's nothing if you're going to pull in $100,000 or more. All right. Now, this is another really important thing. Promoter agrees that immediately after the speaker's presentation, no music will play. They will not make any announcements, and my microphone will stay live. This is an absolute, and I double check it with the sound people before my presentation. The day before when we set up, I make a big deal of this because I don't want them running up. This happened to me early in my career. Mark Victor Hansen, the chicken soup guy, runs up on the stage when I'm getting ready to go sell $250,000 worth of stuff. And he's up there saying, hey, who wants a T-shirt? And he's just totally not thinking, all right? So that's when I put this in my contract, and I remind the helpers to don't, tackle Mark if he comes towards the stage after I'm done, all right? Okay, so promoters should provide several staff persons to assist in moving people to this room and signing them up for the mentor program after the brief presentation in that room. So we're looking at like $5,000 to $6,000 a piece for these people to sign them up. So we want to really be ready for that. Speaker will work in brief announcements during his speech if necessary so that there are absolutely no interruptions when he's finished speaking. So I'll remind the people, hey, afterwards we're going directly to the thing. And it's also reminding the people in the sound booth, don't be up there playing video games and then automatically hit the music. All of this stuff can ruin, it won't ruin totally, but I want the maximum number of people to be concentrating on going to that room. Okay. All right, let me move this up a little bit so you can see it a little better. Okay, let's see. Here we are here. All right, we're right here. All right, promoter agrees that if some circumstance causes a deviation from the published time schedule, that my agreed upon minimum time on stage and required, with all caps, 30-minute break time immediately afterwards will not be cut. See, on these multi-speaker events, you'll get people going over and it's running behind and everything, and sometimes they cut somebody else's time or somebody goes over and won't listen and won't get off stage. Okay, well, my thing says this is not going to happen to me. You're not going to cut my time no matter what. And like I said, they usually agree to it because they know I'm going to turn in enormous amounts of money that they want their part of. Okay. Now, this is another thing with regard to that early bird session. Promoter agrees that the speaker's early bird session will be the only one promoted or permitted at the event. And that if other speakers are participating, if I decide, okay, I know this guy or I know this girl, and they can do something as a warm-up act for me, okay, that I'm going to be promoted as the featured person. That's absolute. Okay. And like I told you earlier, I'm not doing this out of arrogance. I'm doing this because after every time I've done this, at least $100,000 comes in, and as high as $275,000 if you put another 100 people in there. See? Okay. All right. Speaker, and I always do everything I possibly can to promote the event. So speaker agrees to participate in 2 conference calls with the promoter staff to organize and coordinate the marketing and presentation efforts for the event. All right, so what's this mean? Well, I get on the phone with all the people and the helpers that are going to be there and tell them what I'm going to do and how I'm going to do it and how. And a lot of them have seen me at other events, so they kind of know this works. And I shoot a video. I shoot a it's not in the agreement here, but I shoot a high-quality video that they put on their website, and I tell them what I'm going to do, but I also mention the other speakers. But the fact that it's me on the video puts me at the high level as the featured speaker, see? So if you offer to do this for an event, they'll be like, wow, because a lot of these speakers, it cracks me up because I'm an audience watcher. I'm sitting back there and these, big name speakers just roll in with their entourage and I'm too good to stay. So I got to get on a plane. So you buy my stuff right away. And they just haul ass out. I sit back there and laugh because I said, I'm going to take all the money. They're just being jerks and think they're better than they are. And I just stay and talk to the people. I'm there early. I stay late and all that stuff. But anyway, I shoot this video, which they didn't offer to do for the promoter. I'm doing all kinds of stuff to help promote the event for the promoter. So they say, not only do I crank big money for them, I'm really easy to work with and I do everything I can to help promote the event for them. So naturally they want to have me back. I mean, we had one meeting planner say, normally we have other speakers, but with the evaluations you got there, people were writing in 15 on a scale of 10. We can't help it to have you back. We have to have you back because you turn big money and everybody loves you. And I'm not saying this out of arrogance. It's because I take care of people. I show up early. I'm shaking hands with people, talking, answering their questions. I had one guy that nobody would talk to. He was dressed really funny and goofy and his teeth were bad. And I'm just talking to him, answering all of his questions. He ends up buying three of my mentor programs for other people. All right. So you never know. Okay. But anyway, back to here. So anyway, I'm helping promote. So let me get this stuff off the screen and we'll scoot it up a little bit here. Okay. So this is provided by promoter at the event for the ballroom. The meeting room with wireless handheld microphone. That's what I want. I don't want any kind of cords or anything. I need a projector for my laptop. See, I run the thing off of my laptop and appropriate size screens to accommodate the room size. Provisions to play the sound off the speaker's laptop. I'll put 3 arrows here. I run the show. I don't want to be, first of all, I don't use PowerPoint, and I can't believe all the speakers I've taught are still too damn lazy and stupid to not do what I teach them, which is I don't use PowerPoint. I run everything off of my laptop. See, when you use PowerPoint and your time gets cut or, something, you're going through slides really fast, people think they got cheated. They never know what the heck I was going to show because it's on my laptop and I pick and choose what I want to show and I watch the time and I see what I can fit, what I can't fit, and so forth. So I want everything run off of my laptop, and that has to be checked out at the setup time because I do it the day before to make sure everybody knows they have the right connectors, the right cords for my laptop, and I run everything off of my laptop. Okay, from the stage area. And I tell them, I'm always fair in these agreements too. I say, if there's any other equipment, I'll bring it myself. No problem. Okay. This is how I also show them. I'm going to promote your event for you. I'll put it on my website, my blog, my Screw the Commute Top 1% podcast. I'll do webinars to promote the event. But the promoter, has to promote my early bird appearance prominently on the event website during all promotional telecalls and webinars for the event. All right. So they have to do their part too, because they get a lot of money from me. Okay. Let's go to the next page. All right. This is where we get into product sales right here. Speaker usually uses a 3-part carbonless form that the buyer fills out him or herself. The buyer keeps 1 copy, the promoter gets 1 copy, and the speaker gets 1 copy. I run the credit cards later and pay the credit card company discount rate, which is fair to the promoter, so they don't have to do it. In fact, they like that because, the $200,000 worth of sales is a lot of credit card fees. So I absorb that for them. It makes them happy. They like that. but they're letting me run the credit cards because I have a reputation. This is one of those things maybe you can't get if you're not well known and trusted. But when the money that I send to people, I'll show you how I send them money way after the event's over. They really like that. None of the other speakers do that. Okay. So the reason I use the 3-part carbon list is that I want people running through fast. All right. If the credit cards, I can, go find them in the crowd. If there's trouble with the credit card after my event, we run the cards, and then anything that doesn't clear, we come back and find the people and do it. But I don't want them standing in line or going to lunch or somewhere else, and then the next speaker starts, and then they say, I'll come get it later, and then they forget all about it. No, I want to run them through and get them signed up as fast as possible. Okay, let's see. So and then I tell them I will send their money to them 30 days post-event. All right. Now, in almost every event, speaker makes unannounced side deals with attendees to pay the big ticket deals on several payments. People come up to me and say, hey, I only have $1,000 today, but can you make me a payment schedule or this, that? So speaker usually allows this and collects many thousands of dollars following the event. And then I forward the commission to the promoter on those monies after they come in. So the thing is if somebody can't afford the whole thing, I don't want to lose them, so I make finance deals with them, and the promoters are getting money from me months and months and months if people make payments after the event. And they really love this because money's coming in over and over again. So I'd rather get the person with a smaller down payment and have them over time than not get them at all. See, so that's my philosophy on that. Okay. For USA events, speaker provides 1 or 2 assistants. I bring them with me, and the promoter provides additional assistance right after my presentation so that they, again, we move people fast. And if it's outside the USA, they have to, I don't take people with me. Okay, so let's clear this off, and we'll scoot it up again. All right, here we go. All right, right here. For USA events, speaker agrees to deliver product at the event. That's if it's a physical product. Used to do big packets of stuff. Then I went to DVDs. Now it would be thumb drives. For events outside the USA, speaker will, at speaker's discretion, bring a small supply of products as demos and ship the products to the purchasers. All shipping costs for the product shipped in advance will be at the expense of the speaker. Again, they like this. The speaker will be responsible for any hotel storage and or delivery charges for speaker's products to and from the event. They like this. I'm not trying to nitpick them and grab everything I can off the promoter who's got lots of bills on their head. All right. Now, this is where I do a drawing, and a lot of times the promoters are real sleaze bags, and now, I don't usually speak at those events, but they don't trust anybody because a lot of them are untrustworthy. So they don't want you to get the people in your database. But I've got a long reputation of being fair with the promoters, and so they let me do it. All right. So what I do is I have a very specific sales technique that is a proven seller, and a lot of times the promoter's already seen me. You have undoubtedly seen my drawing technique where people put in their business cards and my products are described at a time when I'm giving them away to the winners. This way, I don't have to wait till the end and hard sell them because the products have already been described. And of course, I take them to that room afterwards for the big thing. And I also send follow-up solicitation to these people that are fully commissionable to you. So that means I do a business card drawing now this is what I teach my speakers. Make sure they love you first. So it's at least halfway through the presentation. And then the people that can't afford it that day or can't make a decision, I follow up with them. I put them in my database. I send them deals and things to keep up. And then I close deals long after the event. And when the promoter gets money for that, they're like, holy cow, no speaker would have done that. Most speakers would grab all the money. The promoter would never know about it, but not me. And that's how I put this long career in of people trusting me, see? Okay. So then here I list my products and services. And my mentor program is $89.95, but event prices is like $59.95. So, and then again, we'll finance it for them once I get them in that room. Okay, so let's scoot this down. Talk about travel. Whoop, too far. Okay, right here. Promoter pays business class travel plus room for the entire event. All right, now wait till you get to this red part down below there. Speaker pays travel and lodging for speaker's staff. Promoter will make any room discounts available to speaker staff. In red, this clause is waived for public events. I pay everything for when I go to an event promoted by someone else. And so that's something that would be in I'm going to later do a corporate and association agreement breakdown for you in some other video. So anyway, that's what I say for corporate people, but this is waived for public speaking events. Okay, division of payments and proceeds. The income from speaker sales will be split on a so-and-so basis. All right, so I can't really tell you that here. I will tell you that the normal is 50-50. Whatever you sell, the promoter gets 50% of it. What I can tell you is that I get a way better deal because of the enormous numbers that I turn. So, but anyway, this is the part that addresses that. And product sales, and promoter gets a percentage of the sales. Speaker will pay the promoter percentage within 30 days after customer receives the products or services and after speaker receives payment. Remember, because I made payment deals on some. So if I made a finance option with somebody, the promoter gets the percentage of the down payment, and then they get monthly a percentage of the payment that comes in. Just a little bit of bookkeeping, but the promoters are thrilled with this kind of stuff. Okay, speaker agrees to work on leads from the event and forward any additional sales income to promoter for up to 90 days after the event. Okay, that's what this says. But you ever hear the term under promise and over deliver? Well, that's what I'm doing here, because sometimes I'll close somebody 6 months after the event. I'll still send the promoter the money out of the clear blue. They're like, holy crap, this guy is honest. He didn't have to do this. Even by contract, I didn't have to do it, but I did it anyway. See? And that's where your reputation really spreads to be a really valuable person for their event. All right, let's clear that, and we'll move down a little bit. Okay, let's see. All right. If finance payments for the event-generated products are not received until after 90 days, promoter's percentage will still be enforced and will be forwarded to promoter whenever received. That's the payment schedule stuff. If there are any collection or return issues that can't be resolved by the speaker, the issue will be resolved. And then basically that clause says we'll split, make sure that the money that you got that's not earned anymore, the promoter, I reduced that from future payments because we both got screwed out of the money. So, okay, refunds and returns. Any product returns received by the promoter will be sent to the speaker. If a refund is issued according to any guarantees given by the speaker or promoter, the promoter will deduct a prorated share. That's the explanation of what I just said. If we have a return, it's fair that neither one of us gets screwed. All right. Uh-oh, I hit the wrong thing. All right. Let's go up here. Now, the mentor program is non-refundable. Remember, this is the big money thing. Is non-refundable after any applicable cooling off period as may be required by law. This is called the right of rescission. And it usually applies to people selling windows and siding for houses and stuff, but I just make it universal. I'm not going to twist your arm to sign up because, when I was first starting, I'd see some of these big name speakers and they'd sell a fortune, but then they get a bunch of chargebacks because they high pressured people into it. Chargebacks are when somebody calls their credit card company because the promoter wouldn't give them a refund when they deserved it. So I don't want any of that stuff. I don't want that reputation. So I'll sell a little less, but I won't be fighting with people and getting a bad reputation and getting my credit card account dinged because people doing chargebacks. I can't even remember a chargeback in the last 20 years. All right. And I don't even remember one before that, to tell you the truth. Okay. So I tell them all this before they sign up. You have 3 days. You can say, I don't want this, and I'll honor that, no trouble, and there's never been any trouble with it. But once you join and start using up my personal time, because my program is unique, I'm the only one at my level that will even talk to you, all right, let alone a whole year worth of me and my whole staff one-on-one, see? So I can't give you refunds after using my personal time and all my staff time. All right, so I tell people, if you're not serious, just don't sign up. Don't do it. I don't need the money. I don't want to take your money if you're not serious and going to do the work. So we have virtually no refunds. Okay, next thing. This is just basic stuff here. Speaker topic and contact information. There's my 3-prong attack on a 7-figure income. There's the address. There's the shipping address, all the numbers. We don't really use fax anymore. Emergency contact. Now, let me go down here and say some additional stuff. Okay, right here. I'm agreeing that a lot of times they record these entire events, and I'm saying record it, sell it, keep the money, I don't care. All right, it's just making me better, more well-known. Fine with me. And no additional fee paid. All right. Speaker agrees to allow promoter to record and sell the event home study program. That's what I just said, which includes the speaker presentation prior to the event, on site, and after the event. I don't care. Speaker owns the rights to my own material, but they can sell it. Now, this thing is speaker, personal photographer, videographer, and speaker staff will have passes and name badges for the event. So in certain cities, I have people that are great videographers. I might have them come shoot stuff, but I don't want any hassle with I want my assistants to all have their badges and be let in for free and all that stuff. And if they do sell the whole event, I ask them, a lot of times I never collected on this, but I'll take the master copy of the whole thing so I can listen to other people. But I usually don't bother with this because I'm in the room for every other speaker. And here's another pro speaking tip for you. I don't ever want it to be said that or thought that somebody's in the audience and number one, I completely contradicted what somebody said before me, but I didn't know about it. That makes you look stupid. So if somebody said something, I might say, well, Alex said this a while back, and that can work for sure. However, this is the way I do it. See, now I'm right in the moment with the thing and not looking like, well, hey, Alex said this. I wonder who's right. See, I don't want them thinking that. So I always listen to every speaker. And then if I agree with the speaker, then I might say something like, well, Sally said this, and I agree with that wholeheartedly. You got to listen to her. She was great at doing that. So it shows that I'm in the moment. And so that's why I don't really care, because I listen to every word from every other speaker. Okay. So the big divas don't do that, and they look stupid many times on stage because I said something or some other good speaker said something, And they said something that shows that they're just clueless about what went on during this event. Okay, so let's scroll down a little bit. Okay. All right, so this is basic terminology stuff. The speaker's obligations under this agreement may not be assigned or transferred to any other person or entity without the prior written consent of the speaker. That means I don't want some other promoter to take over. Maybe the main promoter got sick of it and sold it to somebody else, and the somebody else is a shyster. I'm getting out of that contract. I'm not going to a place that's known that I know. And, I've been around so long, I know where the skeletons are. I know who the a-holes are. So that gets me out of it if they try to pull something with somebody else being in charge. And then this is just, typical contract law, governed by the USA. It has to be amended, by both parties. This is typical stuff. And remember, I'm not a lawyer, so this is just but this is pretty standard stuff. And this is holding them harmless if anybody says, well, Tom's information sucked and I lost money over it, those kinds of things. We're holding everybody harmless when those things happen. Okay. You can rewind this and look at the verbiage. But again, you should have all of this reviewed and, rewritten by a competent lawyer that's, knows the speaking business. Okay, here's some more other stuff here. All right. Speaker will get a booth area because all of these events have displays and, convention type areas, either in the room or out of the room. So speaker will get a booth area for the event, at least consisting of one 6-foot skirted banquet table with 2 chairs and admission for up to 4 assistants to operate the booth and assist during the presentation. Now this is a biggie right here. I'm going to put a couple arrows on this one. I've been doing this for years and it pays off big. All right, so I have a full color brochure. I have I used to have DVDs and CDs, but now it's a thumb drive. These are bonuses that will be included. I'll read this to you in the attendees registration packet and must be distributed upon attendees' arrival. Speaker will provide these packets in advance at speaker's expense. This is awesome, folks. If you want to be a pro, you got to act like a pro. And so in this case, I have this gorgeous brochure. You can start out with just a 11 by 17 piece of paper folded in 2, full color about yourself. Mine's 20 pages, all right? So I have a 20-page full color brochure about me, my mentor program, all this stuff. And it's got articles in it, the whole thing. And the thumb drive has a video of the retreat center visit, this $2 million property that people come in and actually stay with me and my mentor program. So people get this, the people that come in the night before get it, and then they watch it that night, and I have people coming down before the event starts and buying my big program before any other speakers speak. All right, so that's what this can do for you. So if you can have your stuff handed out in the beginning, beautiful. Now, for some corporate events, I'll probably tell you more about this when we get, I do another video on corporate agreements, but that I offer special things called pillow gifts for like the executives when they check into their room. Maybe a thumb drive with my material on it is there waiting for them, or one of my books or something like that is sitting on their bed when they come in. See, so those are called pillow gifts. So those are more for corporate kind of stuff. Okay, and then this is the entire, just legal stuff, the entire agreement, that kind of stuff. Let's see. And then just signature lines on the bottom. So that's my agreement for public events, minus that one clause on travel that I'll expand upon whenever I do the other one. So how'd you like that? There's lots of details in a solid speakers agreement. Watch this again and extract the clauses that make the most sense for you and start crafting or recrafting, if you already have one, your speakers agreement. In a future video, I'll break down a corporate and association agreement, which has a bunch of different clauses in it. Now, if you want to see the mistake I made that cost me 5 years of low fee speaking, watch this video up here, wherever they put it on the screen. I don't know. And I'll see you on the next one.